Hi everyone, welcome to Avini Vibes. We're so happy to be here. Today is July 10th. Wow, 2000 and as I have to check the year always because I think I said it wrong one time and the time flies for sure. But I hope you all had a nice holiday with your family. I was very blessed to get a chance to go down to Florida to visit my sponsor at Kowalski and go down and do something at corporate headquarters and got to see Mickey Dillon and got to see Neil and not Neil, Rick. It was just really great when you make new friends in this business. Got to see Linda Madden in person finally. So we had a really great opportunity to share and get to know one another better. But that's the beautiful thing about this company and the community. You know, someone asked me today about she was she was losing her job after 26 years, and she said, "Oh my God, I'm so worried. What am I going to do?" And she's already a customer. And I said, "You know what? Listen in. You could listen in. You could see because one thing we do have, we have community. We have a community that's very, very special, very, very bright, vibrant, but also connected to one another, one way or the other. Whether you're in the upline, sideline, downline, whatever it might be, we all support each other, and that's the beautiful thing about this company." I want to thank Carol Witt for always being here. Tonight we're going to do something different. Helps with the tech all the time, and Dr. Nikita and Chip Littlejohn. And I want to thank you for being a guest here or being invited and making the time to join us this evening. I want to just give a reminder, we don't make any medical claims here. We do not diagnose, we don't treat. We're here to learn, to listen, encourage, and share. That's our purpose here at Avini Vibes. For sure. Oh yeah, mute yourselves if you would. That would be great. And we're going to have something a little different tonight. We're going to do a pre-recording. We're going to do a pre-recording of Steve Cochin. You might know Steve. He's in Avini for a few years now. He's originally from California. Spent lots of time in California as a practitioner in the health and wellness industry for over 18 years. And something dramatic happened in his life that changed the course before he became that health practitioner. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to share the video um, a little different than our normal format. So Carol, if you wouldn't mind, let's hear Steve, what he has to say all the way from the UK. Thank you, Carol.
All right, here we go.
I'm going to mute myself too.
Okay. All right, here we go.
And give us a thumbs up if you make sure you all can hear the volume. If there's a problem, let us know.
Okay, here we go.
Hi, everyone. We just left our live Avini Vibes show, but today is July 8th, and I'm very excited. I'm actually down in Boca Raton, Florida, doing this with a very special guest tonight, all the way from the UK. Steve Cochin is with us. And he's going to share his story, his personal journey as a health and wellness educator. And he's going to tell us a little bit about some hard things he's gone through, but also his journey on helping other people in a most remarkable way. So welcome, Steve. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Christine, thanks for asking me to come on and do this.
Yeah, so if you don't mind, just share with our listeners, you have a long career from 1977 to 2004. You worked an operating engineer on the world's largest dredges on the planet, making offshore islands in the Arctic. My goodness, this has been an amazing career you've had as a professional operating engineer. And your journey is one that is second to none. But please share your story, if you would, with us, and why you're in the UK now, and what's going on in your Avini life, because now you've been with Avini for a few years now. So please. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, put it this way, 30 years of my life was spent on a ship or on some kind of water reclamation project around the world, up in the Arctic, making artificial islands, Holland, Malmo, Sweden, both coasts, Pacific, Atlantic coast. And then, one day I was living in Clearwater, Florida. I was driving, and all of a sudden, my son passed out. I took him to emergency, 6-year-old son, Jesse, and we found out that he had bad cells growing in his brain, and it was the size of a golf ball. They had to do emergency surgery and so forth, and shocking. And they said he has 6 months to live. So I right away I start delving into holistic care, what to do, and so forth. Long story short, his the bad cells proceeded. He went into a coma, went onto a respirator, and I was very stubborn. I'm like that. My wife can vouch for that. And I flew him to Mexico, and with holistic care, because they gave him 3 days to live because he was going to have organ system shutdown. So with holistic care, he came back up out of his coma, breathing and eating on his own, just with holistic care. I mean, intravenous like glutathione, vitamin C, and some Chinese herbs that they introduced with an IV. And it was like opening up my eyes what the national hair care system can actually do for a person. So these things that God has given us on this planet are truly remarkable and truly powerful. Those things that man made are basically, in my opinion, like bandages. They will I mean, Herb could not excise that mass out of my son's brain because they did that, but they didn't get it all, of course, right? So anyways, long story short, it was $5,000 a week in expenses at the hospital there, and I ran out of money. And we did an MRI, and there's a little tiny bit of that stuff left there, right? So brought him home, and of course the hospital care was not the same as home care. We tried to do everything, but he came back and took him out. And so after that, I was devastated, as anybody could imagine. 6 months, I became a recluse. And then I decided one day I better go back to work. So I went back to work, and I decided, well, in the hell with work. I'm going to do something in the healthcare industry. So I went to Pacific College Oriental Medicine for 4 years. I became holistic health practitioner in Oriental modalities, learned what the body is, anatomy, and so forth, and learned acupuncture, and opened up a practice, and bought myself a $12,000 laser, and I was getting people out of pain and detoxing them, and with detox foot baths and so forth. And then I realized that I cannot just with myself help people adequately and fast enough. So I was always looking for products, always looking for, and I joined different companies, and the efficacy of these products was, pretty good. And but I had to piecemeal my protocols until I found Avini, and then when I found Avini, everything came to pass underneath one umbrella. I mean, just for example, like you take the immune system, for example, we remove particles from the body that aren't supposed to be there, deterrents to proper metabolic function. It is actually crazy to think that you could do anything else but that first. You do that first, and then you apply, at the same time you apply nutrition and vitamins and detox and therapies and that sort of thing. And so I found that the products work remarkably well. I mean, for example, you take a look at the master antioxidant glutathione. It is delivers the master antioxidant for the body. Without glutathione, you could it's very easily to deteriorate any organ system whatsoever, right? But let's say you have a heavy metal comes by and replaces the selenium, which is activating the glutathione, for example, replaces it. Like, okay, I'm going to take you over. I'm not going to make you active anymore. So it doesn't matter how much glutathione molecules you make or glutathione supplementation or anything that you do make, you're not going to get any better because your glutathione molecules are all denatured. They're inactive. They're useless. Right. So a little cell defender that comes, it's a zeolite, it's a clinoptilolite, the actual product that is made from. A little cage runs around, and picks up arsenic, whatever heavy metal is stopping the glutathione molecule from working, pulls it out. Selenium is replaced back. Like, I mean, I advocate supplementation of selenium, like 200 to 400 micrograms per day for that. It's really important, you know. And then glutathione works, and then your body immune system is active. So, I mean, I could talk for the next hour, Christine, but you could ask me specific questions if you want. Go ahead.
Well, this is excuse me, this is such an important piece because so many people don't understand or they try to understand, but you have to have a clean body, right? Like what you're saying is you have to clean the body up, get the body functioning so it can do what it does best. And you know, if an immune system is compromised or something else is in there that's causing the body not to function at its optimum performance. So basically, that's what you've had a career of doing for many many years, working with clients from what 2012 to 2020. Now I
Mhm.
do want to ask you this question. You had worked with other companies, but when you worked with Avini, you were still living in California at that time before moving to the UK, is that
Yeah,
correct?
In San Diego. Yeah, uh-huh.
In San Diego. And how were you introduced to Avini? How were you introduced, eyeball to eyeball, or
No, a good friend of mine. He's a health practitioner. Um, Guy Danowski, he introduced me to Avini, and he's always looking for the latest, greatest thing that's on the market. And usually he follows my protocols or products that I introduce him. But this time he introduced me to it, and I took a look at it and says, "Well, damn, this makes sense. You know, this is like this is a good thing to put in my toolbox." Right. So then I started using it, and I'll give an example here in the UK now. We moved to the UK because I'm looking after my father-in-law. He's 90 years old, uh, and the lifestyle is completely was everything white bread, white sugar, blah blah, soda drinks, everything like that, and on like three blood pressure medicines, right? So we got him on the cell defender and uh, get him. He's doing I think about 10 drops 3 times a day now, right? From the three blood pressure medicines that he was on, he is on zero.
zero? What's the time
Uh,
frame?
it- this was about 2 months. 2 months, actually about 3 months, in order to get all three off because we had to. You can't just stop the medication. You have to actually, cut in half, cut in half, cut in half, because there's no way that the body can handle sudden changes. Like the body is not a light switch. You got to do a gradient approach to it.
I like that analogy, that word picture. It's not a light switch. Yeah, last week on the show, I asked someone the question. I think it was Dave Johnson. I asked him, "What do you do when you're sharing Avini and you're sharing Cell Defender and you're working on getting heavy metals and the toxicity out of the body?" And they say, "I don't feel anything. I can't tell a difference." Can you respond to that? What would be your thoughts on that?
Well, sometimes the body doesn't present what it's doing. I mean, do you know if your cholesterol is going up or down? How can you tell that? You can are your platelets adequate? How can you tell that? You can't tell that, right? There's certain things, manifestations, but there is usually, I tell anybody, 3 month trial. You have to be on a 3 month trial of this product, and sometimes the most magic happens after the 2 month period. I mean, we have magic happening sometimes in 2 weeks. But it took my father-in-law, and now he's walking upstairs better. He's happy. He's exercising, and I go and do some, PT work with him, every day. So exercise is really important. Exercise is really, folks, so important. You got to do that, And supplementation, for example, with extra iodine, you need to have like 25 milligrams of iodine per day. In Japan, they don't have no uh, uh, menopause symptoms. They have low blood cells in the uterus and breast type of things, manifestations because of iodine. And I could get into a half an hour dissertation on iodine alone, but that you should be doing about 25 milligrams of iodine per day. So all these things added with Avini, you got 1-2 punch, bam, bam, and you get things done, because we don't have time. I mean, I'm 72 years old now, and I have a certain amount of time on this planet, right? And I want to produce the most impact that I can for the people that are around me, and Avini helps me do that.
Absolutely. And you're a wonderful spokesperson for this company, sharing it, and with your own experience and your own it's your father-in-law's story is amazing. And that's like you said, we have a lot of different stories. Magic. I like what you called it, magic. What about the what's your thoughts on nano silver? I just had a really good personal experience with a person that's very close to me with it. But what about you, nano silver? Someone actually texted me yesterday, and I know the answer, but I'd like to hear your thought, or at least I know my answer. What do you think as far as, they're concerned about uh, funny things in their body, these wormy looking things in their body? Is that something that you've dealt with in the past, and has Nano Silver supported those issues?
Oh yeah, I mean, well, back to my father-in-law. He has like a goopy eye type of thing. We get mother-in-law to spray. It is infected eye. It's all red, and he has tissue all the time, weeping his eye. We spray it once, it starts to clear up like within an hour. Now, listen, here's another story with our four-legged friends. I have a little 8-pound multi-poo, right? And she's out there looking in the grass and stuff like that. Sometimes comes home and once, I mean, this is more than once. I don't know where she picks this stuff up, but she picks up parasites and all kinds of different things out there because dogs are in there foraging. I don't know what but she's on cell defender. But what happens? I'll give you an example. She's vomiting, vomiting, really, I mean, really bad, just ucky stuff, looking stuff. And at the tail end, it's coming out with runny stuff and blood. I mean, like that. So we do a spray, right? We do 10 sprays. She hates it. She can't. She just can't stand it. She's trying to bite it. She bites my dispenser all the time, right? But I get 10 sprays into her, right? I do that once. 3 hours later, I have my dog back. It's like man, I have that nano silver as a first aid for everything, sore throat, something like that. Anything to do with the lungs, anything to do with even the face. I mean, I've heard some ladies even spraying it on their face for getting rid of wrinkles and stuff like that. So, but I mean, it is really an effective, safe. It's the only safe silver that I know that's on the market.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And we have, excuse me, we have an article in the newsletter that's a great resource because sometimes when you talk to people about it, they'll challenge you or colloidal or ionic. But there's a great Rick or biochemist Rick Deitch has done amazing research, and there's so many resources for us that we could share. One thing back to the pets. You see my backdrop, right? So there's my
Oh
horse.
yeah, cute. Yeah,
Yeah, so
gorgeous.
those are my Shih Tzu. We call them Shih Tzus because they're Shih Tzu poodle crosses, and then the Golden Doodle, and that's the cat and the horse. So I use the products on all of them. Same thing. They don't know any difference other than they just tell it like it is. So both of my dogs had oral surgery recently, but I prepped them using the pet plus relief and the cell defender. So I'm with you on that. We got to take care of our furry friends as well. But Steve, before I let you go, let me just check time. We got a few more minutes. What would you like to leave our listeners with if you had to give them? I know I've got to have you back because you have so much wisdom and knowledge in the practice that you've been through. But, if you could take another 5 minutes and what would you like to leave our listeners with? Something that you'd
Well,
like
well,
to
this,
share?
sorry.
No,
Yeah,
please.
yeah, this is for me kind of important is this. Imagine this in 2004, we had Cell Defender available, but little Stevie didn't know about this. My family didn't know about this product. Okay. So, uh, my son would be now 27, 20, probably 27 years old
Hmm.
with a family and all that, right? If somebody, I'm not saying that would have handled the situation, but in my opinion, with all the reading and everything that I've done, he would have had a fighting chance to come out of that. You know what I'm saying? Now, to me, that's very profound. So please share what you know. Don't be afraid because people don't know out there. People don't know about this product. This company is just started. It's just a little baby company. It's growing like crazy because the products work. And if anything, folks, just take my word for it. Try the products, use them, give them, and don't wait for a result before you tell somebody about it. Share this video with people. Just go for it. Pedal to the metal. Let's do this.
I love what you just said. Don't wait till you see a result because some will see results. I had a remarkable result for myself with something I dealt with. I had these bumps. You know, you talk about women are using it on their face. I've been doing half my face with nano silver, and when people meet me, they can see the difference, the gel. I can say which side of my face, and they go, "Wow," you know. So that was my own little test. And Carol Witt, who's my co-host on this, Carol did have one arm and not the other. So like we've seen results, but I like what you said. Don't wait till you see the results because the results are going to be different for every single person because each body is unique. But Steve, would you say a clean body can fix itself? If we get the body clean and clean it up, you see better results. Yes?
Damn straight.
I love it. Listen, thank you. You're a wonderful guest. I'd love to connect with you again. Let's get you back on here at another time. We're going to have the recording. Let's go back to our live show and we'll see you all shortly. Wow, he was great, wasn't he? He has so much to offer. He has so much. We do have to have him. He could have gone on for hours and hours with his expertise in the field, but his story, I don't know about you, brought tears to my eyes. You know, if he only had it back then when his little Jesse is 6 years old. So I'd like to open it up for a moment here. Chip, are you here?
Yep.
And then Linda
Yeah, I'm
Madden, I
here.
want Linda Madden to give a testimonial that we heard the other night in Boca that was remarkable. So Chip, why don't you join us a minute? And then Linda, if you wouldn't mind sharing that testimonial.
Sure.
Can we hear you, Chip?
Oh, yeah, you can hear me. I'm sorry. I was ask me again, please.
I think you might be in the tree. You might be in the tree house. I just
I
wanted
I, I am in the tree.
I thought maybe you could comment on, Steve, and just make a comment if you would. And then Linda's going to share a
Oh
testimony.
my goodness. Well, yeah, for sure. We have had some interesting conversations over time, of course, but the things that he said, the solution is a gradual thing. It's not like dropping a bomb on something. It gives you a fighting chance. I really like that. You know, that's what you get by using the products. It gives you a fighting chance. And the statement that you used, a clean, healthy body fixes itself, I've added to a little bit. And I say a clean, healthy body works great and fixes itself. So for the people who are already healthy, I want them to know that, works great. That's the high performance side of it. That's the athletic side of it. And so when he was speaking about running the big ocean dredges and stuff, my son will be here tomorrow night. He runs the biggest dredges in the world in the coal mines on the part on the dry land. And he said our stuff is just about as big as the stuff on the ships. So you can imagine how gigantic. But right before you started, and he said he ran dredges, I was pulling myself and one other guy got some ropes around a huge island of moss, and we were dragging that moss out of the lake. So I thought how interesting that Steve's career was that, and right when he came on, I'm a one manpower dredge essentially, but you want to be able to do stuff like that. What do you want out of your company that you represent, a health company? You want to be able to do crazy stuff like that. You want to be able to have an adventure machine and take off with it. So he really has been compelled to study. If you listen to his story, it's a tough story to hear. But he has been driven. He walked away from the dredge and started learning about this.
Yeah.
Started learning about Avini decades before he found it, essentially. And then how do you create income doing something like this? Because if you walk away from the dredge, you better find a way to create income.
That's for
Anyway,
sure.
those are some thoughts.
Thank you, Chip. Appreciate
Cool.
that. Thank you for sharing. Linda Madden, had an opportunity, as I said, to
Yes.
meet her physically. We've talked on the phone, but her story she shared with us in corporate the other night. So, Linda, please come on and share with us what your experience has
Sure.
been.
Hi everyone. Yeah, I would do that, but sure. And since I shared the other night, a few other things came to my mind. Because I had this infection, and it was a sinus infection, ear infection. Doctors, she kept giving me, antibiotics and steroids, and nothing was working. I still felt lousy. And it's like, when you have like a virus in your body or some kind of infection, you just don't have any energy. So I was real low on energy. I just was feeling horrible. And I was talking to Carol Witt, and she was telling me about Avini. So I said, shit, let me try it. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I said, let me try it. And so I ordered a bottle. I said, I'm going to try and see what happens. Like after a few days of taking Avini, I started feeling better. And within a few weeks, I had no infection. The infection was gone. I actually signed up in between is what I did. But the biggest thing for me was last year I had to go in for an ultrasound of my heart and my carotids. And I was diagnosed back in 2020 with AFib. So they checked the heart and all that. So when I got the results back, they told me I had a leaky heart valve, and I was like, "Oh my God, what are we gonna do?" And she said, "Well, they kind of put it off as an age thing, and there's nothing to worry about. Happens to a lot of people." Well, I don't listen to that. I kind of did some research on my own, and I discovered that there's reasons why a heart valve gets stuck. So, I was, and I talked to a friend, and because he has one, he's taking medication, and so yada, 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 right? So meanwhile, I'm on this cell defender. Okay. So just 2 weeks ago, I went in to have another ultrasound on the heart. They wanted to check the valve and see how things were going. So when I got the results back, I'm getting a little emotional about it, was because you know what? The valve, there was no leaky valve. There's just no leaky valve. I sleep. I am somebody who's struggled with sleeping my whole entire life. And I always thought I'm just a night owl. Well, now I go to bed at 10 p.m. I've never done that. I'm in bed by 10. And I wake up 6 o'clock in the morning. It's like total, and I sleep through the night. I don't even wake up. It's like amazing. And this is stuff, I'm not going to say anything about medical. I just feel better, and I feel I have more energy. I can do things because I just wasn't feeling right, and I had a lot of stomach issues because I had esophagitis, a hiatal hernia, and all of that right now, like I don't even take any medicine anymore. It doesn't bother, like it's healed. It's just not, it's healed is what I'm going to say. It's actually healed. So
Clean
this
body
stuff,
fixes itself.
yeah, I'm telling you, and it's like I feel so much younger. And I just turned 71 July 3rd. So Like it just makes, and I look at myself in the mirror and I said, "Oh my God, you look better." I look alive. I look, I have all this energy. And I'm just gonna tell Ed we need to go to a baseball game. For
All right,
sure.
let me jump in a minute. What that comment means. I heard when we were at the corporate headquarters the other night, Linda is an athlete. She's a professional
Yes.
athlete,
Yeah.
softball, and Eddie's a professional baseball player. So the two of them, after this is the community we have.
Yeah.
We challenged her to get back on the field together. So the two of them were going to hit bat and ball together, and something about third base and Linda being able to see it coming off the bat and all this language that was going on. So Linda is a star in her expertise of this, but isn't it beautiful that the younger version of herself is coming out all over again? And I can see that on the faces of so many of you.
Yeah.
Carol did I did half my face. Carol did half her arm. Try it. It's a great testimonial when you hold up your arms, Carol, right? Or you see one side of your face. People say to me, they can tell right away. Oh, that side, no question, within 2 seconds. But Lisa D, you with us tonight? Where are you? I saw you on the screen for a moment.
I'm here, but it's a bit loud.
Oh, well, I just want to share something with Lisa D. Lisa D's not new to this field, but she's, I don't even want to say now she's not a newbie to Avini, but she's kicking butt. She's sharing with people, and her confidence is amazing. I told her when she first got in, you'll be the one standing up and sharing Avini, and she can share anything about health and nutrition and gut health and brain health. She's an expert in that field, but she is just blowing this thing up, and I just want to congratulate you and many others that you made that list in the newsletter a couple times as being a high sponsor. So congratulations to
Thank
you.
you.
You're a very good example for the rest of us and all of you there. We got to get out and we'll share. We're going to cut it short tonight, but I just want to say Steve Kuchin was a great guy to have on. Love to hear from you. If you have a story, you have a testimonial, please email me, shoot me a text, let me know because we want to have you on. Next week, we're going to have women's health talking about the breast next week. So it'll be very, very focused on that. Women's health, important thing. And then also you guys are invited to come because you want to bring your loved ones to hear about that topic as well. So with that, I just want to say good night and thank
Good night,
you.
everyone.
Thank you, Carol. We'll have the recording up on Avini Health Training very, very soon. So it'll be there for you to share. God bless each and every one of you.
Bye,
Good night.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.